Well, today's episode is going to be a little different. Normally, when it comes on a Tuesday, I review NWA. It doesn't matter if it's Power, Power Surge, or whatever. But however, that's not going to happen today due to the fact that, there's going to be one of those best of reviews of the year of 2021. I don't normally do those type of things. But however, I decided to replace it by reviewing a past event from October by Empire State Wrestling, which is a promotion based out of New York somewhere, either Buffalo or New York City. I don't recall much about it, but the event was great. Great wrestling that they had over there. Also, going to continue, of course, since it's Tuesday, we're going to have AEW Dark and NXT 2.0. However, for our news updates, we're going to talk about former TNA slash Impact Wrestling employee who we all know and love. Apparently, the cancer is back for round 2 for him, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And also a very interesting announcement coming from a Mexican wrestling promotion, which I can verify is not AAA or CML. It appears they announced that a current WWE star will be heading there in October of 2022. And also, interesting development about Jimmy Wang, who people said that he quit his job with WWE as a producer, but however, he just now verified everything what they people think they said they're saying is not 100% true. So, let's get started with another episode of the Leader Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Leader Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay Rod here. So, let's begin reviewing for the first time ever this promotion that I just found. It's called Empire State Wrestling. This event took place back on October 10th. This one's called the Fourth and Gold. To let you guys know, I never heard of this promotion, but I have to say they have a good atmosphere, great wrestling ring. I like the entrance ring, how it's set up. It's pretty good. However, the wrestlers, you may or you may not have heard of them, but you may see who they are. Um, Opening match was tag team action. We have the High Seas consistent of Cloudy and Nick Andos taking on main event Duke Davis and Gannon Jones Jr. Now, this particular match was pretty good. I have to say, it was a pretty good opener, and I love the tag team on this match. But however, the match took a turn when what's his name, Nick Andos gave the low blow to Gannon, and he also used the ropes for his leverage to win. However, the ref did not see that, so basically the High Seas took this victory with the steal, and no one saw a thing. Next up, we have a very interesting match pair of technical wrestlers. We have Brandon Thurston taking on Spencer Slade. Now, those who don't know who Spencer Slade is, he made appearances in AEW Dark on few occasions, but there is a thing about him. Those who don't know, Spencer Slade, he's deaf. Yes, folks, you probably heard that right. Is 100% sure he's deaf, but he seems like he's getting the hang of it. Now, some people say he shouldn't be wrestling. I can say this for all of you, those who think he shouldn't be wrestling. F you. You can't count a man's disability. At least he knows what he's doing. But however, the match had great technical wrestling styles. From what I understand, both these men have like a bit of the amateur wrestling background. So that kind of fits in. But however, it's Brandon who has much of the experience. A little bit of the grappling style with a little bit of judo from my understanding. But it did play out well. However, it was Brandon who put Spencer on a submission move and forced him to tap out. Was a pretty good match. I think it was good. I like that. Next match, this is for the ESW Interstate Title number one contendership battle royale. So basically, there is a title that was placed. We have Jerk Calkins versus Keenan Moore versus Siren Reen, um, Galvin Glass, Vinnie Moon, um, Maddox, James Sega, Jeremiah Richard, TJ Epics, Troy Cooper, Elijah Cruz, and of course this one guy, he was not supposed to be there, but he integrated himself. His name is Kevin Bennett. Now this match was, it took a lot of more fast pace. I don't know why. It could have been a lot longer, but it did. So from there's like an entire group of guys that were removed. I can't tell you which ones are they because it's a little confusing because it's hard to keep track who is in fact getting out. But the way this match ended, Vinny Moon seems like he had everything under control until what's his name? Jeremiah Richards shows up and he tries to win this match, but however, it didn't so well. Vinny Moon got him off the ring by going over the ropes and allowing himself to win the match. However, soon as the match was over, Vinny Moon, once again, he goes for round two and he faces the champion of the Interstate Championship, Frankie Feathers. The match was pretty good, but however, the match ended badly because Mike Bennett, who felt that this title was meant for him, he needs that title. He decided what his flunky, this big dude, I forgot what he called himself. He decides to interfere, and Kevin Bennett did like a sort of somewhat Aussie cutter onto Moon, making sure that Feathers actually pinned him. Now Feathers was self-aware, like he realized something is not right, so he knows he didn't do anything. So this match was kind of like robbed out of the opportunity for Vinnie Moore because Mike Bennett felt it should have been him getting this title, but it didn't. So I don't know what happened, but we'll see what happened in the next event that will take place later on. Next match we have Mike Skyrose versus Vincent Valor. Now this match went crazy with a little bit of the tables, and Vincent Valor actually put him through a table when he chokeslammed him, and it was already over. I'm like, it was a normal wrestling match, but somehow it just transitioned to a tables match. I don't know. It was kind of interesting how the transition. Next up, we got Ace Romero taking on Bill Collier. Now this was a big powerhouse match. As we all know AC how big he is, but the guy he's all pure power from what I can tell. Now you probably say there's no way Bill Collier could have an opportunity to beat AC Romero, but when there's a will, there's always a way. So what I like about the story is somehow Bill Collier gave him a big shot right in the face and speared him for the 1, 2, 3. But I did not notice after the match that AC Romero was bleeding from her nose. I don't know if that was an accident or what took place, but I hope he was okay during that day. Next up, we have tag team action: Main State Posse, Aiden Angro and Dangerous Kid taking on To Infinity and Beyond, Colin Delaney and Cheech. I have to say, what a great tag team match. I've seen um, To Infinity and Beyond before in other promotions like the C4 Wrestling or C2, I think that's the call, and of course AIW. They're a pretty good team. I have to say they have a good sequencing how they do things. Try to work together. And that played out pretty well. But one thing it led is where Delaney had what's his name, Aiden, in the power bomb, and of course Danger Kid was right on the back of was on the knees of Cheech, and they a power bomb right on top of him, allowing for them to make up the pin. Now our main event is of course for the ESW heavyweight title between the American Wolf, Davey Richards, and versus Red Death, Daniel Garcia, who has been this champion for almost a year. I have to say the match was great. They have the same kind of style. But what I did like is somehow when Davey Richards had Red Death in a submission, he actually turned around, put him on the roll up. 1, 2, 3, it's over. Daniel Garcia retained the title and gained the respect of the American Wolf, Davey Richards. However, during the post match, there was a video package sent by Kevin Blackmore, who is cashing in as the next competitor, the challenge for the heavyweight title from Daniel Garcia. And of course, Garcia gladly accepted. I'm excited to see. There is another one like this called Wrestle Bash. So we'll see what happens. But right now, let's move on with AEW Dark Elevation. Okay, so we got AEW Dark here. Opening match is Anna Jay along with Tay Conti taking on Reka Tehaka. Now, this match went a little bit quicker than I expected. It ended with, of course, Anna Jay applying the Queen Slayer onto Reka, giving her the win. Next up, as you know, Wardlow is set up to be in the match. However, as you know, recently we've been seeing every time he tries to do his multiple power bombs, Sean Spears tried to tell him to end it. So basically, he tries to be more excessive. So it's more like Warlow tells him, like Spears is questioning him, saying, "Don't you think it's a little bit excessive?" And then he kind of tells him, "Look who's talking. You're the one who's going obsessive." And I think that kind of tells us, that maybe Warlow does not appreciate Sean Spears getting involved after his matches. You know, like what's the point? The guy's already down. No need to make him any further. But you know how Sean is. Next up, we got the Blade along with the Bunny taking on Toa Leona. Now, whenever there's a match of this type with Blade, we know the Bunny gets involved, and she did. She even got in the ring, but without the referee knowledge, the Blade used the brass knucks and knock out Toa Leona, allowing himself to win the match. Now we get to Warlow's match, which is against Casanova. Now, we were expecting multiple power bombs. That is the one thing that Warlow has made good on his promise. I think I might lost it between 4, 5, or 6. I don't know, but it was a lot of power bombs. So I don't know. Now, anyway, next interview we have is Anthony Green. He is set to face against Tony Nese. Now, Anthony Green has been very active in AEW Dark recently, with some good matches. This is going to be another good match that we've seen. I mean, these two guys have met before when they were with WWE back in the like a while back, but now it's different. Tony Nese is the premier athlete in this one, so we get to that match later. Next up, we got Diamante taking on Shauna Reed. Diamante took out Shauna Reed with the double stomp, double kind of like what Shibata does when he has his opponent in the corner. She got Shauna really good, and 1, 2, 3, it was already over from there. Now we get to Tony Nese versus Anthony Green. I think this match was pretty good, but however, I think what I did like about it is the commentary where Excalibur questions Taz, like, don't you think it's kind of weird that he shows up during your son's match? Because if you guys did saw during this past Rampage, Hook was in a match against Bronson Reed. Now, basically, Taz understands what Nese is doing, but however, he believes that Hook will just easily destroy him. And Excalibur agrees with him, He sees that he's good. He knows that he is a cold killer, and that kind of feels like, okay, we'll see what happens. But he believes that Tony Nese will lose that match. I mean, I would love to see that match, but the real question is, when will that match take place? But, however, in this match with Tony Nese, it was already over. Apparently, Tony Nese took out Anthony Green with the leg right in the corner, and boom, it was already out from there. 1, 2, 3. Next up, we have Kylan King versus the Bunny, along with the Blade. Now, luckily, the Bunny did not use the brass knuckles like I would have hoped it would, but however it didn't. She put her in the rabbit hole, and it was already over from there. Next up, tag team action. We got Bear Country, Bronson and Boulder taking on the Acclaim, Anthony Bowen and Max Caster. This match was set about a week ago. This was one of those matches where Boulder and Bronson are facing a team that has been at the top, but right now, um, this is where where the Acclaim are now trying to push themselves to be at the top of the food chain, and they managed to separate Bronson from Boulder in order to keep him away. But not only that, they use the advantage by taking out his Boulder's knee, and it worked, allowing them to win the match. Next up, we got Sky Blue taking on Ashley Dubois. This one also went out quick, but it kind of went into some sort of weird ending. I don't know what you call it. Just it's when you place plant the person on the mat, and it was already over from there. I don't know what you call it. Next match, we have the Wingmen, Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi taking on Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy. The match was good as well. However, in certain moments, we saw Ryan Mendez come out try to give the helping hand, but it was Chuck Taylor that was able to help level the playing field. But it was Orange Cassidy that took out Peter Avalon with the Orange Punch. It was already over from there. Now, our main event is a no disqualification, no countouts, no rules match between Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. This thing has been going farther and farther where they are in the point that, Joey Janela will do anything in his power to hurt Sonny Kiss and make sure Sonny Kiss never comes back, that sort of thing. And not only that, Kayla even got herself involved on many occasions, but it was the final move where Joey Janela did like a power driver onto Sonny Kiss's head on the table. And that was it. But the real question is this finally over, or are we still going to see more? I don't know. But we'll see what happens in the upcoming weeks. Hopefully, things will be a little different. But I believe right now we're going to end the reviews with NXT 2.0. Okay, so as you know, NXT 2.0, this is their last show of 2021 before we head to New Year's Evil next week. I'm pretty much excited for that event. It's very going to be awesome to watch. It opened up with Grayson Waller, of course, giving out a promo about him questioning AJ Styles, saying that he doesn't consider him a star. He that he feels like this, like, why you come to my place, so I come to your place instead, that sort of thing. But we were supposed to have a match between him and Dexter Lumis. Most likely it didn't happen, but Odyssey Jones stepped up. He didn't want no piece of him, but apparently Odyssey Jones got under his skin, and of course, as always, in this match, Waller is talented, but he's a bit out of his the way he does his storylines, where he tells that he is the bigger star than everyone. He even used an open turnbuckle to help him try to finish the job, which he did. But as soon as he beat Odyssey Jones, apparently it just AJ Styles reappeared. Says that he will challenge him at New Year's Evil. Now this is going to be AJ Styles' first official match in NXT. Now, those who don't know, AJ Styles never went to the process of NXT. He just immediately went to the main roster. That is something that I think some people probably say that's a little crap, but it is what it is. That's how it was. Now, during an interview with Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez, it appears they were supposed to challenge both Gigi Dolan and JC Lane, but however, it appears that Jade and Gonzalez aren't the only ones who want a shot of the title. So was Io Shirai and Keila Ray. So Mandy Rose came up with the perfect solution. There's going to be a triple threat match for the title. However, Cora Jade and Raquel Gonzalez are put as a team. Same thing with Shirai and Kaylee Ray. So that's going to be our main event. Now, MSK comes out with a promo calling out Imperium, telling them that they challenged them for the titles. And of course, Imperium don't believe that they have what it takes, that they're obnoxious. They don't have respect for anybody. That they are an embarrassment to the sport of wrestling. Even Walter made a video message as well, saying the same thing. But however, Riddle shows up, decides to give them a helping hand. However, Riddle came up with a perfect solution for next week. He and MSK will be teaming up to take on Imperium. So this is going to be one of those matches where if MSK can get through this, they will prove they do belong here. But of course, Imperium always says, respect the mat, it's sacred. But we'll see how that goes. Now, as you know, last week we just saw the biggest upset. Idris Enofe was able to defeat Von Wagner, but Wagner saw this as is nothing but a fluke or lucky break. But Malik didn't see it. Blade, who was by his side, said that he'll take him on. So basically, that match was already later booked. Now, we were supposed to have Harlan to take on Brian Kendrick. He waited for him, all this. Then Andre Chase shows up. I don't know if this was one of those storylines or adding in where he thinks he can take him on, but it didn't happen that way. It just went ahead. But Harlan just took every inch of power to destroy Andre Chase by ending this until he pinned him. But however, one of his students showed up to give him the helping hand. Harlan was not even done, so he kidnapped the now later show they were in the top of the roof. The guy was afraid, but they just let him go. I don't know what was that all about, but it sounds pretty great. Now, in recent time, we have seen things have changing with Legato. Elektra has completely lost focus. Last week, she actually got in the eyes of Zion and then losing to Io Shirai. So they're questioning her all this. But Solo Sikoa didn't mean to bump in. But of course, Legado are taking this very, very seriously. So Solo Sikoa decided, let's just do this in the match. That's where we do our thing. So of course they did it. Now, we just seen the in-ring debut on NXT, Tiffany Stratton. Now, she has made her debut in 205 Live, which was impressive. But now we get to see. Now, her first opponent is Fallon Henley. I thought it was a good match showing her what she can do. So, basically, Tiffany is one of those wrestlers we definitely got to pay attention what she does, but we'll see what happens to that. But she did pick up a good victory on Fallon when she did something with the arm and flatten her down. So it was pretty good. Now our next segment is the contract signing. Now this is more of a winner take all, unifying both the Cruiserweight title and the North American title. However, this is more of the who that Carmelo Hayes claims that he's the one who's going to walk out. Same thing. But however, this was later seen like it was a trap where Trick Williams got under his skin and apparently he got put to a table. But Malcolm Bivens made a good valid point. Trick and Mello are outgunned. Now they don't think they see it, but they don't see. There's more people in Diamond Mine, but we'll see where they're gonna go with that. That kind of shows us like hope Melo has something in store. Our next match is Solo Sikoa taking on Santos. It was a pretty good match. It showed how Solo and Santos were, but however, once again, Zion Quinn shows up. All of a sudden, Santos got into his face, got distracted, but however, Solo Sikoa took advantage of it and beat him when he did like a sort of like a splash on him, and he won. But the real question remains: what's going to take place with Raquel Gonzalez? Is she's going to question her loyalty, or they're going to question where is her head? That is one of those things we definitely got to pay attention to, because I think it's telling us a story. Is Raquel Gonzalez falling for Zaya Quinn? I don't know. But as soon as Solo Sikoa was done, he was on his way back, but he was attacked by Boa out of nowhere. But Boa completely lost control, Then we see Boa without the makeup. I mean, is he being possessed? Who knows? But it tells us that maybe Boa wants to fight him. We don't know exactly what's the extent. Our next match, we have Von Wagner taking on Malik Blade. This match was like a brutal match, but you can tell that the Von Wagner won. Even Robert Stone was watching, but however, Wagner wanted to lay more destruction onto Malik Blade, but however, Malik Blade was saved by Idris. He wasn't going to allow this guy to get away by hurting him some more. So there will be hell to pay. Now, our main event, we have Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade taking on Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray. Whoever wins this match will be part of the triple threat match at New Year's Evil. There was some interesting moments where Raquel Gonzalez and Cora Jade couldn't get along. There were some moments they could have messed up, but it worked. But the real question is, how is this going to end? We know that these two women have something in mind. We know Raquel Gonzalez wants the title back. We know Carol J wants to be champion. But the real question is, will either one of them dethrone her or Mandy Rose will retain? That's something we gotta wait and see next week. I'm excited for that. Hopefully, we get all to see it. But for now, I believe it's time for us for some news updates. Okay, welcome to the news updates here. This one was announced today on Twitter by Jeff Jarrett and later was confirmed. As you know, if you guys remember him, he used to be one of the ring announcers, commentators, slash whatever. Don West. As you know, he had a battle with cancer not too long ago, but it appears that cancer is back for round two. This is a very emotional time for all wrestling fans who knew Don West or seen his work. I remember how Don West was a big fan of The Amazing Red, how he played manager. Hearing now this about him going battling cancer for a second time, it kind of makes me sad that he has to go through this again. But hopefully he pulls through once again. He beat cancer once, he beat again, and all we can do is give our love and support, and of course our prayers that he can pull through one last time, and hopefully he does. So, Don, our thoughts and prayers are to you, and hopefully you make it through. Now, this next update was a very unusual one that came in today on Twitter. It was announced by Mexican wrestling promotion Chaos, which is KAOS, Chaos, has announced that Randy Orton will be making his appearance and debut into the promotion in October of 2022. Now, some of you question, why would WWE allow this? I mean, that is a good, valid question. I mean, it's very unusual that they make this move, but I do have a theory for this. If you guys recall or do know the stories, WWE have been trying to set up a foothold in Mexico. They even tried to buy the archive footage from CMLL, or is it Consejo Mundial Lucha Libre, but they said no. They even tried to purchase AAA, but they said no. But here's the thing: it's Chaos in the same thing. No, to be honest with you guys, Chaos is a very good promotion, but not in the same level as both AAA and Consejo Mundial Lucha Libre. They're getting there, but they're not in that same level. And I think maybe that's the case, that maybe WWE are sending Randy maybe to hopefully get them set up a full hold. I don't know. Anything could happen between now or then. Now, this match will take place in October of 2022, but the real question is, will we see Randy already still be there? Now, there is no opponent announced for this match, but we'll see what happens then. Now, our last update here, this one is coming very unusual. It was announced to say that Jimmy Wang quit his position as producer with WWE. Now, however, Jimmy Wang has verified saying, no, I didn't quit. WWE had no interest in me anymore. I think my sense of producing didn't sell. And, it is what it is. I mean, it makes sense that that's what it is, but I don't know where they get the idea where he was already working. I know that he's been recently been helping his daughter set up her establishment as a wrestler, and that's what he's been doing. But I know he was on a trial basis, but nothing else. But hopefully, he'll be somewhere producing wrestling shows. I don't know where or when, but we will keep an eye on that. So I believe we will stay on top of that as soon as possible. But right now, I think let's call it a day. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, me reviewing three, for the first time ever, Empire State Wrestling and NXT and AEW Dark. For the upcoming episodes, I might do a two-part episode. One will be from a 2 day event by Stardom. As you know, I'm a little behind on Stardom. I am getting closer and closer to catching up with them, and hopefully review Queendom, one of their right now shows that's taking place right now. I will keep apprised of that, see what's going on. Uh, the others, as you know, we will have AEW Dynamite New Year's Smash, which I'm excited for. But right now, let's just see what's gonna. I'm gonna wing the entire thing on the next two episodes or so. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.